Hi, Armand Diaz here to discuss Mars in Libra. Today, July 3rd, 2012, Mars has gone into Libra at 8:32 in the morning. And it's the day of the full moon, which is kind of significant. We'll talk about that in just a second. But let's talk about Mars and Libra in general. Now, Mars is the planet of assertion, of aggressiveness. It is the warrior planet. Mars was the god of war in ancient Rome. And so we associate Mars with some really forceful types of energy. Libra, on the other hand, is the sign of, it's Venus's sign, Venus, the god of love. It's one of her signs, and Venus is not such a warrior type of planet as we tend to think about it today, at any rate. Venus is the morning star. Well, I won't get started on that. But what we're talking about is the sign of Libra, which has a lot to do with relationship. It has a lot to do with social rules and niceties. It has a lot to do with sort of the proper way to do things, just what you do and what you don't do. Basic black before five is out, blue and green never seen. Also Libra types of things. So Mars, this warrior charges right into this really nice afternoon party. And typically, the idea has been that Mars is not so very happy in Libra. Well, at any rate, he has to express himself in a different kind of way. And the assertiveness and aggression that can be kind of just nasty, outright, yeah, this is what I think, kind of gets bent around a little bit. Instead of punching you in the nose, Mars is more likely to dash off a terse memo or something like that. It's not really such an overt aggression or overt assertiveness, although the actual assertive or aggressive energy is there. It's just expressed in a way that, it conforms to the social niceties. I'm still going to tell you how much you suck, but I'm going to do it in such a way that people will say, we can't arrest him. Because Libra likes the rules. You see, Libra likes the rules, whether they are in fact laws or whether they are sort of the unspoken social rules that kind of hold us in place quite a bit. Libra is about those rules, and when Mars is in that sign, it tends to kind of conform to those rules until it can't conform anymore, and then the other side of the story kicks in. So Mars in Libra, initially, what we have is, assertiveness and aggressiveness following the rules. But if it reaches a sort of critical point, then Mars, then all of a sudden the warrior says, the hell with the cocktail party, the hell with the niceties, and starts to rebel against them. And then what you get is a change of the rules. The rules get broken, and then we might have to sort of reformulate them. And so it's a sort of taking apart of the rules at a certain point in time. And we'll see both of these things. Couple of quick things from Mars and Libra that we can pretty much expect. Among other things, when Mars is in Libra, the legislature will get a lot of attention. Libra rules the legislature in a government, and so that legislative process, whether it's in the government or whether it's a board or something like that in a company, gets a lot of attention, and we'll see a lot of that sort of group process thing getting a lot of attention. No doubt, because Mars has gone into Libra on the day of the Capricorn full moon, this particular Mars in Libra will have a lot to do with, we'll see a lot of it in the United States. The reason for that is that the Capricorn full moon this is July 3rd, it's aspecting the U.S. Sun, which is July 4th, and the U.S. Pluto is in Capricorn. Now, if Mars in Libra in general is about sort of, constraining energy with social niceties, what a time we have now that the Uranus-Pluto square is taking place in the sign of Capricorn and Aries. Or Uranus is in Aries and Pluto's in Capricorn. Now, what this means is that Capricorn full moon is lighting up that square. So these deep changes on social, personal, collective, on every level that are taking place because of the Uranus-Pluto square is set off by the Capricorn full moon. There was cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. So Mars in Libra, if it's usually about social niceties, if it's usually about constraining energy according to what is socially demanded, not so much this time around, and not so much for the next few times that Mars goes through Libra. He has about a 2-year cycle. So while the Uranus-Pluto square is still active, he's going to be coming through here a few times. And what we're going to see is not at all restrained energy, because as Mars is in Libra, pushing us to consider the rules, pushing us to consider the niceties and how those social mores can affect our ability to assert ourselves. He's also going to be triggering Uranus and Pluto and their square. And so it's not a matter of constraining Mars energy. It may constrain it for a while, but it's going to pop open. So we should see a very, very active time with Mars in the sign of Libra. It's not at all saying, well, we're taking the time off. Mars goes through Libra between July 3rd and August 24th of 2012. And the time between July 17th and the 22nd is when he'll really be aspecting Uranus and Pluto. So look to those to be very, very hot days. And those will be the times when you'll really see this kind of buildup of energy and a kind of triggering and release of this type of Mars Pluto-Uranus energy. It's a pretty tense time up in the skies, and no amount of Venusian niceness from Libra is going to cool things down. The types of issues that are going to come up, as I said, have a lot to do with government, a lot to do with legislature. Mars' extended stay in Virgo did a lot to trigger and re-emerge or trigger the re-emergence of a lot of the issues that were prominent when Saturn was in Virgo, and that includes healthcare reform in the United States. Just to give you an example, I don't want to be all U.S.-centric, although this, in fact, very much, the configuration in the skies, it lands on a lot of things, but it certainly, the United States is a good example. And sometimes if you look at a good example of what's going on, you can kind of apply it to other things. In our personal lives, relationships will be highlighted. Relationships will get hot in one way or another. You know, hot relationship is not necessarily a bad thing, but relationships will get hot in one way or another, and there will be a certain amount of strain that will make it very difficult for relationships that are kind of on the rocks to, well, let's just say Mars in Libra isn't going to be a particularly smooth time if things are not going well to begin with. On the other hand, if things are going well, it will sort of push you to go a little bit further. In general, in terms of relationships, though, give yourself enough space, give your partner enough space. This is not a time to be sort of pushing and trying to condense things. This is more time to let things sort of go the way that they go. Leave a lot of freedom, leave a lot of space. You don't want to you don't want to try to make things go your way or any particular way during this particular time with Mars in Libra. You kind of want to just sort of let things go in a good way.